Welcome everyone, it's lovely to have you. Yay, you can all hear me, we got there in the end. What I was just saying is hello to you all. Hello Sue, hello Carol and Carol, hello Deb, hello Julie, Judy, welcome. Judy is new to the group. Everybody will make you very welcome. It's lovely that you can join us. Hello Trisha, hello Kay, lovely to have you join us. Hello Kim, Rosie, Jan, hello Jan, Scheppenberg, if that's pronouncing correctly your surname. It's lovely to have you. You're new to the group as well. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody. Apologies if I have. Hello Jane. Oh, Jan is in Kentucky in the USA. It is 1 p.m. over there. So it's, as you probably know, it's 6 o'clock here. It's very dark. It gets dark really early on now. Hello Sandra. Right, let's kick straight in. Apologies for keeping you. So tonight's tutorial is festive. However, we can still use it for all year round. Now, for those of you that haven't joined before, what we like to do is bounce ideas as we're going. Bounce ideas as what can we adapt this pattern for? What other things can we use it for? So I'm sort of, you can see me, but effectively I feel like I'm having a conversation with you all. So let's show you now some of the decorations. They're using the same technique as we are doing with the earrings tonight. If you do want me to do a separate tutorial on that, let me know and I can do one next week. So I've also got kits available in these. They've got 20% off and they make 2. So it's the same technique. It is the little stars. Love these, absolutely love these. These are using 8mm glass pearls. What we are going to do is actually the earrings. So we'll go on the overhead. Who else loses their favourite earrings? I seem to be left with one of them. I've no idea why. So you'll have to bear with me because this is probably going to be a bit of a close-up. Right. Let's move that microphone out of the way. Right, so this is what we're going to be doing tonight, but what I propose is that we go a little bit larger and start off by using some 4mm glass pearls. Now these, that's the one that I've got one left of. It was obviously one of mine. Kim loses earrings as well and no studs. It's always my favourite earrings. So can you see in this kit here, we use the little seed bead stars in the centre, but the whole thing is the same technique. So these are very Christmassy. In the earrings pack, you've got enough to make 5 pairs of earrings. So there we are. They're using size 10 seed beads, normal earring hooks. If you've never done any beadwork before, we're using Nymo beading thread. As I said, size 10 seed beads, a size 10 beading needle. So I'd say cut a meter of your thread. I always like to wax my thread using beading wax or wax that you perhaps use for doing dressmaking, or if you haven't got that, just run it along a candle. Don't sort of load it too much. So there we are. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. What I will do is I will keep those on my mat so that if anybody's coming late into the tutorial, you can see what we'll be making. You can refer back to it. I propose to actually show you using the 4mm glass pearls, because visually you're going to be able to get an idea of it, and then what we'll do, we should have plenty of time so that we can actually then switch over and we can look at how that fits in with using the seed beads. Now I've already threaded my needle, and you don't need a knot at the bottom, so if you've never used the bead weaving before, bead weaving thread, you don't need to knot yet. So this is the same technique as using with the seed beads and with the glass pearls, but I just think it's going to look better from a learning point of view, just going a bit bigger first. So we're going to thread those on. We're going to thread on 12. Leave a couple of inches from the end of your thread. Now, if you suffer with perhaps not so good vision, you can still do this within reason. Now, obviously, I appreciate that it's not possible for everybody, but there's a couple of tips along the way. Is do it in daylight. That's always a good tip. Okay, obviously Thursday tutorial time we can't because it is what it is. Oh, problems with signal now. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hope everybody else has got the signal okay. Just a couple of things, Judy. What we found, I'm sorry if I'm telling you old hat and you haven't got all apps open, but just a couple of things that have helped people in the past with the signal is if you've got any other things on the internet on your browser, is to shut all of those down, shut down your email, shut down all of your other bits and pieces, and it does help to get a clarity of signal. Not always, but a lot of the time. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was one tip, is use it in daylight. The other tip is use it by touch. Okay, use it by touch. You don't have to squint your eyes, so just use the tip of your needle to add on your beads. It works particularly well with the seed beads. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back round. So going back at the start, I'm going to push my needle all the way through those beads. Jan said it's okay here, that's good. So Frances has made a couple of these stars today while she was cooking dinner. Fantastic. And Judy's on her phone now, brilliant. Now I have started uploading these tutorials onto YouTube. For those of you that have done my sort of Thursday tutorial times, you know I'm a little bit reluctant to put them on there because I always worry when people see it on YouTube that they don't always like the chat. So I put a little notice up there just to tell people where to skip along to if they want to cut that out. Okay, so we've come back to the start point and our two threads are together. Now I know some of the guilds don't agree with knotting, however I am all up for whatever works better and easier. You do what you feel is best. I can give you guidance. I'm going to do a knot, 2 single knots, and it just gives it a bit more stability. Right, that is a really good point. Trisha's saying good tips, but it doesn't help actually threading the needle. I'm getting quicker. Right, threading, I remember the first time I tried it, I thought, no, I am so not going to be able to thread the needle. but you do get used to it. And actually waxing your thread helps. You can also get the flat end of your pliers just to flatten the end of it as well. That's another thing you can do. Right, so that's step one. We've made ourselves a circle. We're going to push our needle through the first bead in that circle. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 beads. So when you were doing this in seed beads, you will use exactly the same size. And then we're going to skip over the next one and go through the bead after that. Right, and then we're going to pick up another 2, and you follow the same technique all the way around. So your thread's coming out here, you're going to miss the next one and go into the one after that. Now it's quite important to pull your thread nice and taut, but not too taut that it's going to snap, but it's pretty robust thread. Now if you're doing this for the first time, cotton isn't a good one to use long term. If you're just having a go for the first time, you know, you might want to do that if that's all you've got, but it's not recommended for long term because it doesn't have the same stretchability, shall we say, or durability. So we're just going all the way around. Miss that one where the thread's coming out and go through that one. Okay, add in 2 on. Miss one and go through one, and then I'm going to need some more. Where have they gone? Some more ivory glass pearls. Hello Trisha, don't worry that you're late, it's no problem. So we're adding 2, go over. Okay, so what we do is we end up at the start again. Now what I would suggest you do is what we call reinforcing, and reinforcing, for those of you that haven't done it before, means going back round the same area that you've already been round. So I'm going to reinforce it, which is to make it stronger, and I'm just going to go through all the beads that we've just added. Okay. So would you believe that there's not that much more to it. I thought what we'd do is we'd make this one into a pendant. And you can always tell when you're back at the start because that's where your other tail is. And bearing in mind, it's a bit like crochet and knitting. We've all got different tensions. Right, so that's where we're at. Okay, this size, I thought what would be quite nice is you could hang something in the middle. That'd be quite pretty. You could even do like another one in a size 15 and have it dangling in the middle like that one. Right, so we're now going to make the point of that star. Now, you could use the same size, but I am actually going to use some 3mm check beads because it's going to show up a little bit more in the tutorial. Hello Hilary, thank you for joining. So we're going to go across like so and down. Okay, and then we're going to go back up into the next group. Hello Linda. Just to say as well, for those of you that are new, I do a giveaway every week, which I announce on a Sunday. So that gives people enough time to catch up on Rewind. And all you need to do to enter is literally like the post and to make sure you comment during the live as well. And also, if you win, and you wish to order anything to be sent with your giveaway, you get free P&P with that as well. So as you can see, it's so far behind. Are you beading along, are you, Judy? I must admit, apologies if you're beading along. I'm probably going a little bit quicker. But hopefully, you know, if you do it when you do it on the rewind as well, if you find that I'm a little bit too far ahead, is you can obviously just press that on pause. So there you go. Oh, you're trying to. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's great. Do let us know how you get on. Now, Linda's just said goodbye to her granddaughter and she's exhausted. Now, if I was making a pendant, okay, I think that's rather sweet. Make quite a nice bookmark as well, wouldn't it? So I've just got a little soldered ring there. What can I use? I might actually just use 6 of these. And then we've still got plenty of time to do this in seed beads as well. 1, 2, 3, go through the ring. 4, 5, 6. So you could do this in seed beads or beads. So it's coming out this side and going through this side. Looks lovely with the crystals. I'm glad you like it, and I think it's good to do it with different beads as well, because it shows you the flexibility of the pattern. I mean, you could do this. I know some of you like working with size 15 seed beads. You could make it really tiny as well. So I've just gone round to make the hook on that, and what I would do is I'd reinforce, go back round. Carol said that the crystals, it looks less like a star and more like a pretty flower. Well, that's kind of good, isn't it? Because, you know, if you want to use this pattern throughout the year, it's you just adapt the colours and the beads to the look you want to go for. So that's that. Pretty quick and easy. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, Judy, whatever you feel comfortable with is, you know, it's available on Rewind afterwards, so you can actually watch it back and pause it at your own sort of time. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you how to tie off. So if you've never done it before, so I would tie off in 2 to 3 different places. So I'm actually pushing my needle in between beads, and before I pull it all the way through, you just go through the loop there. Push it through a few more beads. Now, don't cross your thread paths, and what I mean by that is don't suddenly bring the needle from there, you know, across to there, for example, because you don't want the thread to be particularly visible if you can help it. Just do one more. So Kim I was thinking about you with the 15s, Kim, because I know you really love working with size 15s. Don't worry, Judy, because we're going to do it a few times more. We're going to do it with other beads in a second. So there we are. What we do is we cut that off. Now I know some of you have heard of a thread zapper, which is like a little heat thing that you can use as well. What I would do on this one is tie that one off as well. So it's really good to make sure that you have a little bit of tail on that, so at least you've got room to tie off in at least one place if you can. And then push your needle through a couple of beads before you tie off. Now that's come undone. Yeah, I think these are quite difficult lives to bead along with, you know, real time, because I have to confess I don't really, because I'm always conscious of keeping people, you know, I press on with the tutorial and then you can just have a little watch afterwards. So don't worry if it's not sinking in, but obviously hopefully it will when you watch it back. There we go. So that's that one. So Rosie's saying, did you use thread for the big star? I did, but you could always use as well, you know, like the microfilament as well, like the plasticky stuff. You could use that as well. And I would say if you're using knots, it's probably an idea to actually pop some nail varnish where you do the knots as well, so they don't come undone. Now Sue's going to do some after the live. Brilliant. So, and don't forget to post your mates in our sister group, Beaders of Beads by Vachil. And that's where we have our crafty chat and makes. Now, for those of you in the States, if you do want to order anything, you are very welcome to. I've got a lady that orders from me most months, and generally it's between £8 and £10 for postage. And I just combine it all for you. So if you find there's things that you can't get back where you're from, so to speak, then please feel free. You can still order things from me. That's not a problem. Right, so let's colour combinations. Let's decide. Let's go for metallic bronze and metallic silver. So we've got a nice combo then, haven't we? You can see the different tones. Kay says she loves those. I'm glad you like. Now it's just deciding which way round to have it. I think I'm going to go for this. So we do 12 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've cut the same amount of thread, although to be perfectly honest, you probably only need half a metre with doing the seed beads. So we've got that there. This is the tail, this end. And then I'm going to bring the needle and push it all the way through those seed beads. Like so. And keep hold of the tail because so often it disappears back through. So pull that together. Don't forget to leave a bit of a tail so you can tie that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie 2 single overhand knots where those 2 threads join. No worries. You take care, Deb. Deb has to shoot off. Now, we're going to push our needle through the next seed bead. Now, let me see if I can actually just zoom, got any more zoom capacity on this. Right, that's at its max now, but as they're seed beads, it's better to do that if we can. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually alternate the colours so that you can actually see where I'm doing what. So I'm going to add 2 seed beads. You can alter the colours to suit. So I'm going to skip the next seed bead. So there's your thread. Skip the next bead after it and go in the one after that. And that sits on top. So we are going to add 2. If using size 15, Sue's asking, is it the same number of beads? Yes, that's right. Same number of beads. I mean, obviously you can alter the tutorial if you want to. You just need to make sure that you've got enough to cover the 2s that go across the top. So the thread is coming out here. You're going to miss the next one and you're going to go through the one after that. You're very welcome. But that's the lovely thing about this. I've even done this pattern with massive wooden beads. I wasn't really happy with the result only because I didn't really like the design, and I found it difficult to find which thread worked best for it. So you might need to do a little bit of experimenting. So the last one, miss one, go through, and then when you've gone through, you're going to step up into the first bead in that round. Okay, let's just take a pause. So what we've done here is those bronze ones are the circular ones you did in the 12, and then we've added 6 groups of 2, so you miss every other bead. And then to finish off with, we're going to actually put 1 bead on the point. So again, I'm going to alternate the colour beads so that you can actually see. So we're going to step across. So effectively, you're stitching a bead in between those 2 seed beads. Go down through one of the beads from the circle and up through the next group of 2. Add a seed bead. Go across to the next one, so you're stitching it in between. Go down into one of the beads from the circle and then step up into the next group of 2. So hopefully by us doing the bigger beads, so you can go straight into the 2 if you've got a clear thread path to do that. So hopefully by us doing a bigger one, you can actually see that better. And then the last one. Okay, now if you find that it gets a little bit tight, you know, in terms of getting the thread through, then you can always use what's called a size 12 beading needle. They're more difficult to thread, but they're finer. So that is that little nugget. Now what I want to show you is if you were adding an earring hook, I just want to talk you through it, and then when we've done that, I want to actually show you if you want to convert this into a bracelet, how do we do it? So let's look at the earrings first. Now I've got some of the earring bungs that are in the thread at the moment. I've got thousands of the things. So I'm selling 100 of those for 30p. Otherwise, I'm just going to have them forever and a day. So anyway, if, I don't know why I ordered so many. If you're adding the earring hooks, anybody else do that? Is I'm adding 3, but you can do more if you want. Go through the earring hook, then add another 3. And then, so if you separate that, and then, so can you see your thread is coming out this side, so you anchor it to the opposite side, like so. Okay. So I've got a little idea actually as to how I can, we'll finish this off, and then I will join another star to this one and show you how you can make that into bigger dangle earrings or a bracelet. But if you've got any vision whilst you're watching this, please bounce ideas with each other, because out of one tutorial I always like for us to go off piste a little bit and just think outside the box a bit and think, well, you know, I can see that, you know, it could be, I could see that on, you know, the base of a curtain, or be an awful lot of stars, or you could see the little stars on a little garland, you know, a garland that you could have over the fireplace that's on chain. So whatever it is that you think, I would like to try that, please share it in the chat, because I think it's always, I get so many ideas, and sometimes, you know, from you all, and sometimes when I'm making them I think, oh, I wonder if that would work. And don't be frightened for something not to work initially, for something else to come out of it. I'm just tying this off, by the way, because in order to experiment you have to be prepared to have a bash and think, nah, that's not working, but let's take it apart, let's try it another way. And you know, things don't always come out right the first time round. So I'm just tying off that. So just cut that off. I think it'd be quite nice for completely lost my train of thought now. What was it going to be quite nice for? Oh, a bookmark, bag charms, bottle decoration as well, perhaps. You know, if you're buying someone a bottle of wine, you could almost make a little you could make a bracelet. If it's for a lady, you could have a bracelet to go over it, couldn't you? If it was in a really nice contrasting colour that stood out. Right, I think that hasn't sat quite right on there. Always a good idea to actually have a pin at hand as well. Now, I'm just going to leave that as it is, because if I fiddle with it, it'll go astray, and it's just in tutorials. So there we go. That's that one. Let's just have a quick look at your messages. It's a bit of cotton, absolutely. You bin it. If it doesn't work, bin it, start again. iPhone charm, absolutely. Wine glass tags, love that. I'd like to have a go with baubles to go on a wreath. Oh, nice. These would be nice on, with baubles as well. I wonder if we could link them up on baubles as well. Carol says, with the seed bead size, could you pop a fairy light bulb through the centre to create a pretty collar on the fairy light? I think you could. Linda said that's pretty. Thank you. So let's have a look at, right, where and how do we join two stars together? Now I have to confess, if I have done it before, it was a long time ago. So I always like to experiment, don't I, on a live, and I'm never frightened to show you my mistakes. So we're doing a little bit of experimentation. This time I'm going to reverse it, so I'm going to do the silver as the dominant colour. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think, Judy, that's a really good idea, is, you know, start with bigger beads first, and that way visually you can see the method. And then when you've got that sort of ingrained and you're comfortable with it, then you'll find it so much easier going down to smaller beads. So we're going to reinforce this. Jan, I love that idea. Hang 3 from a beaded chain for a necklace. That would look lovely. And if you wanted it as an extra special, you know, for yourself or someone else, you could always have a sterling silver chain as well, couldn't you? Patricia said it would look so pretty with crystals or beads on a necklace for Christmas. It really would, and you could always link the stars up round the collar. You could put chain on it as well, so that you didn't necessarily have to have all of it completely stars. Kim said she made the large stars a couple of years ago, put them on ribbons and tied them on everyone's Christmas bags so they could put them on their trees. That's really lovely, and it's a real nice keepsake as well. Is that the right word to use? So thread coming out of there, miss one, go through the next one. So I'm just reversing the colours here, just really throwing out some different designs out there. You could use these with any beads, bicones, size 6, size 8. I suppose you could even have 4mm gemstones if you wanted to do a gemstone, you know, perhaps a birthstone star for someone. That'd be quite nice. Now if you did the bigger one would make a nice garland round a fireplace, wouldn't it? Whoops. Right. That's the only thing with the knots sometimes, is that I'm having a few problems getting my needle through here. There we go. Now there's another top tip. Let me just go and grab it so I show you. If your needle gets stuck, then have a pair of pliers at the ready, which I didn't do, and it just helps. You can just pull it through. There are times when your beads might crack if the thread gets a bit tight. However, if it does, like Sue says, just, I've not even gone through the right place there, just cut it out and start again. Yes, Judy. Judy's just checking that it is 12 beads at the start. It is 12 beads at the start. You might want to alter that. Again, it's going to be something that you just have a little play with. Maybe bicones, Jan, absolutely. 3, 4mm bicones. So I'd reinforce that. Okay, let's just... With the bigger ones, you need to reinforce a few times, otherwise they are too flimsy. That is a really good point, Kim. Very good point. And the other thing you can do as well is something Trisha mentioned, that's watching tonight, is that to make things more solid, you can water down PVA glue with water and paint over your ornaments. Okay, you can also use nail varnish, clear nail varnish as well. I would have thought the PVA is the less smelly of the two. Right, so we are adding, I just keep checking that I'm on screen properly there. Now obviously you are going to want to share one of the points with the previous star, and that's how you're going to join them up. Now there may be a way that you can actually do it without having to start a new thread again. But right now I can't quite think how you would do that. Right, so I've got one left. Now to join it, but bearing in mind by me alternating, that is actually going to have a different colour on the tip there, but it doesn't matter. So we've got no bead on the top there, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the bead from the previous one, like so, and then just carry on as normal. Now I'm just wondering whether or not there's any way I can actually make another star without actually threading another needle and cutting this one off. I'm just going to have to give that a bit of thought. I'll just ponder for a moment. Now I'd normally tie that off, but just for today I'm going to cut that off so that it looks okay. So Carol said you could hang the stars on varying lengths of ribbon and hang over a square or rectangular mirror for Christmas. I love that. That's really lovely. Varying lengths and also various sizes if you'd like to. Now Frances done PVA and it works really well. You only need a little bit. Well, that's really good to know because I haven't used the PVA myself. Now let's just see. So if we were adding another one, let's just move that more centrally. Let's add two. This might not work, but if it does, why have I got three? Right. I'm not in the right place here. Bear with, bear with. Maybe make the stars individually and join them with jump rings. Yes, you could certainly do that. I'm just having a little experiment. So I've got two. So that's that part of the star. I have no idea whether this is going to work or not. And then let's just get some of those bronze beads. And then we can have our 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Could you do a right angle weave to join them? Possibly. Very, very possibly. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to join that circle. Like I say, I don't know if it's going to work, but this is part of experimenting, okay? Is you need to actually take that dive and try it out. It's the best way to do it. and then if it doesn't work, then well, it doesn't matter, does it? And if it does work, I will talk you through it. Right, so that, let's go back round again, so hopefully you could see it. So I am going to position it so that you have a seed bead sitting in between those two seed beads, like so. That worked. Right, let's add all the points and see if it works still. So 1, 2. It just really it just really irritates me, the fact that if you could avoid faffiness, tying off, starting again, if you could, it would just make life so much easier, wouldn't it? And it'd make your project a lot quicker. So if it's possible, let's try it. If it's not, we've tried it and we know. Yeah, it does, it works. So we go round and we make the point. How are we doing for time? 9 minutes. Right, let's do the bronze one. 9 minutes before 7. But let me know your thoughts. You know, have you enjoyed it? Are you feeling motivated to give it a go? So really my point with this is the fact that you can have one continuous thread for making a bracelet, or for that 3-tier necklace. There's no reason why you couldn't have like a little dropper at the bottom, you know, like a precursor crystal or something like that. Right. Well, that worked. I'm well happy with that. Really happy with that. So, don't remember what to do for the third round. The third round is literally adding a seed bead in between those two. Okay, so let me just, I'll be trying this later on. Brilliant. You've done 2 rounds, fantastic. So the third one is literally just adding that bead in between. Now, let me just remind you again. I don't want to confuse you if you're just doing singles, does that make sense? But if you are wanting to join these up, I'll just start you off. I'm running out of thread. Running out of thread, that's not good, is it? It's very inconvenient. But anyway, I'm going to see how much I can get out of this one. Right, so this is what I did. says she. Thread's come undone again. Got very little thread. So push your needle through the point. So this is if you're going to join them. And then if you reverse, so think about, so if you made a star, what would be the next thing? So you'd want those two things next. So add the two, because you're just creating a mirror image, and then go back round the other side. And then come through one of the silver, and then you'd add your 12. So you'd only come out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you would just join that as a loop, and then when you've done it as a loop, when you go back round, you want to make sure that you actually attach that silver bead so that you've got one bead in between, if that makes sense. Okay, hopefully if you watch backwards, if that makes sense, if you watch a bit further back when I was trialing it, you know that it actually works. So just to recap, so the method is the same, large or small. Where's my other one? Or medium. So don't forget, experiments, no experiments, whatever you make, pop them in our sister group at Beaders of Beads by Vichil. And hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll be with you next on Sunday, sometime on Sunday, just to bring you this week's news and announcements. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.